Hello, this is Vernon Snell. Vernon Snell's journey of life, coming out of Washington Heights. I'm also the creator of Vernon Snell. In 2020, when COVID did what COVID did to the world, it changed me. It made me realize that life for me was a game. My mom was diagnosed with cancer. I All my businesses collapsed. I had a restaurant, a party venue, had a home in Bergen County, New Jersey, putting my kids through school. I've been hustling all my life. I came from Washington Heights. I came out of Washington Heights with all the Dominicans. War on drugs from the 80s to beyond. I've been in the streets for all my life. With an eighth grade education, I've created multiple empires. From the cocaine days to the marijuana days and the pill days and all the things that I had to do to survive. I witnessed countless amount of death, incarceration, and just all these horrible things that was someone's invention, I believe. When COVID came around, and after fighting the law for so many years, with identity crisis, my relationship, up and down, temptations in the street. When you get older and you start marinating in your brain what life is about, you really realize that it's just one big game that someone put together. And I feel like I was raised in someone's storybook because I don't really fully understand drugs now at this age. Who would create something like that unless you wanted to create it for what it created, which was music, movies, an economy, black market, so much devastation. When my mom passed away, a little bit before that, I started looking at all her pills and remembering all the things that she was saying before she passed away. And always asking for sugar and a little pill. And this little pill was her pain medication. That little pill would knock her out. But she reminded me of the heroin heads, crackheads that was roaming the streets back in the 80s and 90s and 2000s. It was something that I thought I would never witness. It's not coming from a lady that raised four of us. I was the youngest, fatherless, and I ran the streets of Washington Heights. I learned the language, I learned the culture. I had a Dominican woman in my life for about 30 years. Um, I knew every underground business, from chopping cars, shipping cars, arms, to drugs, and everything that went on in Washington Heights. And all the other boroughs, but I believe Washington Heights was the hub. If you go to ChatGPT and you Google, you go to ChatGPT and you ask it what was the worst block in the war on drugs, and it'll tell you 160th Street, and that's the block that I was from. That psychologically damaged me after COVID. Really understanding that my life has been nothing but risk and challenges, from the law to the streets to my relationship to my identity crisis. I realized that I had a soul that I just kept going against. And I went on a psychological war in my head after I lost it all. I ran in Puerto Rico for heat and warmth after investing in a property in the Dominican Republic in my ex-woman. I was there for 6 months building it, dreaming of a wonderful life on the beach with her, and that all fell apart. COVID and the psychological warfare that was happening at the time created so many people to make these decisions and forget about other people. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I have documented recordings, pictures, and voice of my psychological warfare coming from 2001, 2002, I'm 22, all the way up to today. A lot of pictures, the way I see things, the way I understand things. I have hours and hours and hours of testimonial, conversations actually to myself sometimes. And my point is what a brain can go through when it goes through so much pain and pressure. It opens up to something that you realize everything. I've counted so much money in my life. Then I'm broke to this day. I have not $1. And I've counted millions. The drug trade was just it was for everybody to play a game. And immigration came in to help disguise it for what it truly was. And then everybody went back home, including my ex-woman, and left me to die alone with not even my culture. Because I didn't really embrace my culture when I was coming up. I was around the Latins a lot. Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians, some Mexicans, and a lot of others. But we was all trying to make it, trying to get to a better place. And it's crazy to say, but none of us really achieved more than probably have a legitimate job. I've been out of work for about 5, 6 years. And my son and my ex-woman have financially been helping me out because I refuse to have a legit job that's not going to pay for my lifestyle. And that's what created me to write. That's one of the things, just saying all of my thoughts at once, make this big collage of my life. Bar mitzvahs, gunshots, growing marijuana, being chased by the cops, guns in my face, cops, a lot of money, a lot of women, boats, Dykeman Marina, the club scenes, the drinking and driving, the motorcycle accidents. I have so much. I have so much history. I'm not normal. I'm on all streets. I'm an entrepreneur, a family man, a brother, a sister, a son. And I never hurt anybody with a weapon. I've seen the whole build of hip hop. I've seen the whole collapse of hip hop. I look at these guys now and I say, well, you should have seen it coming. I've worked only on instinct. With a little bit of people that I trust. But anyway, going back to what I've done with this, I recorded myself going through my worst moments in life. I have enough for a documentary and more studies what the brain can do to somebody. everything in your brain, it just creates something to you. And I had to find a way to release. And I started writing. Started writing. With ChatGPT's help, I created Poetic Cinema. I cried many nights of really understanding how many people are suffering from depression and addiction, like I was. They had no clue why, and I kept figuring out why. I even admitted myself into the hospital once. At least I thought I was going to be admitted, but this new world where you talk to screens, I told the lady, "You're not real," and she said this to let me go. But I have photographs of the scrubs, and I remember that day clearly. You know, when you don't go with the way people want you to go, everyone thinks that something's wrong with you. And I understand everyone is being trained to become something that they're truly not. Anyway, this is this video is a part of my archive of testimony of my life. And I didn't think that I would live this long. Actually, I started documenting myself because I wanted my family, my kids, my friends in the future to remember that I was here. Because I didn't think I was going to make it. My psychosis was bad. My addiction was bad. Alcohol and weed. I wasn't thinking clearly. And finally, 2025, I came down to Miami to bring my son and put me into the Christianity world. Not that I'm fully religious, but just to see so many people of harmony and love, it just makes you feel worth living for. And my son has showed me a different version of myself, I believe. Something that I always wanted to be. And he helped me to this day create my company and guided me. Something that I always needed. After my woman left, or after we split, my guidance was gone, and I was gone with that. But this is all about a life that was created from Washington Heights. You know, looking at it all back, I feel like I was just a pawn in this game board. Eventually I understand the whole board. I understand all the people we lost and why we lost them, and who Washington Heights really was. It's just someone's creation, big black market, and clean all the money up with hip hop and performances and hospitals. And that's the way I see it. I lived a life of danger, all danger. I cracked my spine, missing fingers, shoulder accident, concussions, a few of them. Ankles are screws and rods, gallbladder. Then I have PTSD, ADHD, hyperventilate, and I feel like I was in a war. I don't trust anybody. I'm uncomfortable. I want to stay there. And this is what happened to a brain that have so many years in the streets. I'm just trying to change things for the better. I thought by hustling, eventually I didn't have to hustle. taken care of. That wasn't the case. I got taken advantage of and left just when I thought that I was retired. But with all that said, that's what created me who I am today. I'm no longer addicted to all the substances that I used to use, or not even my thoughts. I still have a little bit of flashbacks of my ex life, but every day I write, every day I invent, and it's all for people that are interested in listening to what I have to say, coming from that era of Washington Heights that was so dramatic. I lost all my innocence, and I became a fighter. I beat a lot of my court cases in the 15-year bid that they were trying to give me once. That case doesn't even exist anymore. That's, I believe because of my intelligence and how I speak and the questions that I ask. But my first trial of law I had when I was about 19 years old, and I ended up in a hung jury. Then I had so many after that. But I beat them all and never did more than 10 days in jail. And I ran the streets with a lot of drugs, a lot of marijuana, and other things that I'm not proud to say. But that's what it was at the time. That's what people was asking for. It's what I did. All before marijuana was legal. And the legalization of it just broke my heart. It made me feel like I lost so much money, so much time, and now somebody else is going to come in and take it all away. But that is all what created me who I am. You know, my heart and my brain is finally connected. I understand that everyone now is situations where they just believe what they see in front of them. They don't believe in heart. And I believe I have heart deep enough to try to continue expressing myself no matter what danger I may be. It doesn't matter to me. I've had so many close calls to death. I don't really worry about that. Once it's over, you don't feel pain. It's whatever. But for whoever this video is worth, this is the way I speak, and I hope people read between the lines, with more heart, with the brain, and I've managed to stay alive enough to create Poetic Cinema. I have a website now. I'm on Substack. I do a little bit of social media. And my true heart is just to get this out to the world of what happened on African American with an identity crisis operating in a predominantly Dominican area when the war on drugs in Washington Heights. I think that story is like no other because I do know the Dominicans like the back of my hand. I'm just like them. Like they taught me everything, and I know most of the things that people have probably never seen before. Anyway, thank you. Brendan Snell, Poetic Cinema. I hope to hear from you.